Cricket presents The Warmup, and thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Ted Madden. 2 weeks left in the regular season to make that final playoff push. Let's get you ready for some football. Two of the top 5 teams in the state go at it this week for district supremacy. It's DeSoto versus Duncanville, and we preview that game in the lineup, presented by Xochitl Chips and Salsa. Duncanville has had little to no problem with any of their opponents this year, and that's pretty much been the case the past several years. Reginald Samples has some of the top athletes in the state on his Panther squad, and he knows how to get the most out of them. Defensively, junior Colin Simmons has quickly become one of the nation's best junior pass rushers, and DeSoto's offensive line will need to account for him. However, doubling up on him leaves an opening for a player like defensive lineman Alex January to make some plays. The Eagles will have to pick their poison on that front. Offensively, Keelan Russell has handled the quarterback responsibilities admirably after the early injury to starter Jameer Willis. Russell has thrown for 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns as the Panthers are rolling on both sides of the ball. However, word on the street has been how this could be DeSoto's year to upset Duncanville, and it has helped that the play of quarterback DJ Bailey has been top-notch. Check out these stats for the junior signal caller. Over 2,000 yards passing, 29 touchdowns thrown, and just 1 pick. Obviously, it helps to have a star receiver in Jonte Cook to throw to. The UT commit has 44 catches for 727 yards and 13 scores. If DeSoto can get the protection they need for Bailey, the Eagles could put on an aerial show and pull off the win. It'll be something to see at Duncanville Friday night. If Duncanville and DeSoto is the game of the week, then Byron Nelson and Southlake Carroll is 1A. Both teams are undefeated and will be facing off for the 4-6A district championship at Dragon Stadium Friday night. Southlake Carroll is coming into this game a little wounded. Quarterback Caden Anderson is expected to miss his 3rd straight game after suffering an injury against Keller. Graham Knowles has filled in quite nicely for the Dragons. In 2 games, he hasn't missed a beat and has thrown for over 500 yards on the year already. But it's the running of Owen Allen that will be Byron Nelson's main concern. Another outstanding season for the tailback, who is the Dragons' all-time leading rusher already. The senior has almost 1,200 yards on the season and 19 touchdowns. The Bobcats will be focusing in on the Carroll defensive backs in this one. Keller exposed them a little bit a few weeks ago, and Byron Nelson will look to attack through the air. Jake Wilson has been torching opponents to the tune of almost 2,700 yards and 29 touchdowns. His favorite targets, Landon Ransom-Gels and Gavin McCurley, have a combined 86 catches for almost 1,600 yards and 19 scores. This one could be a shootout, and the fans should definitely get their money's worth.
Enjoy the authentic flavors of ancient recipes. So thin, so crisp, so good. So chill.
Come into Cricket Wireless and get any LTE Android free when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
At Eaton High School, Jaden Platt started out as a quarterback when he was a freshman, but after an elbow injury, he switched to tight end. Turned out to be a great decision, as Jaden is now a Division I level tight end. We talked to him this week on the recruiting trail.
I think what stands out the most about the Cardinal is the people there. From the coaches you meet to the players and even the students there, they all have great minds. I feel like you're able to get a good balance of a good education, only a very high education, and a very high level of competition in football. So I think it's just it's the best balance of the 2 things. My play style, I love to go out for passes, but I feel like I can put my hand in the dirt and go kick a D end out or wash them down. But I always love to go out for some passes and use my size to my advantage and go against some safeties and linebackers. Route them up a little bit. That's kind of my play style. Some stuff I like to do in the free time is I like to play some chess. I feel like it's a good thing to get my mind going, and it's a very calm thing I can just do. I love watching anime. Anime is one of my top things to do. But those are pretty much it. And video games, of course. I'm always playing video games when I can. Like I want my legacy at Eaton to just be a guy that, although I was a good football player and all that, I still wanted to be, like a guy you can come talk to, kind of want to be there for everyone. But I also want people to know I was a baller. I wanted to leave off that impression that, I was good at what I did. And, I took care of things on both sides of the field, on and off. I love to talk to my coaches and my teachers, and get with that level ground.
Come into Cricket Wireless and get nationwide 5G plus a free 5G phone when you switch. Smile, you're on Cricket.
Look for our cameras at a lot of big games this week, but unfortunately we can't be at them all. Let's take a look at some games you need to watch for in the hype. 6-5A Division I has been a logjam almost as soon as district play began. This week, we have another game that will help decide playoff positioning when Frisco takes on Lone Star. Frisco is 5-1 in district play, having just lost to Reedy last week. As usual, they keep the ball on the ground as much as possible with a variety of different backs getting the ball during the course of a game. Jordan Hamilton leads the team in rushing with 537 yards and 9 touchdowns. But the playmaker for the Raccoons is SMU-bound Brandon Mayazono. Frisco has a game with Wakeland to finish the season, so they'll need to get at least one win down the stretch, or they could miss the postseason. As for Lone Star, the Rangers put themselves in a hole early with losses to Reedy and Wakeland, but have since pulled off 4 straight wins. They have 4-2 Heritage waiting in Week 11, so they too need to get at least one more win to clinch a spot. Lone Star has suffered some key injuries throughout the season, but two-way star Jalen Braxton has led the way. The Arkansas commit had 2 picks, a TD catch, and a TD pass last week against Sherman. Arlington still has a chance at the 8-6A title, but needs a win over Arlington Martin to help get it done. Sam Semi has been the catalyst for the Colts. 1,700 yards passing, but he is a true dual threat and has accounted for 23 touchdowns, 11 through the air, and 12 on the ground. Draylon Burton is also a 1,000-yard rusher, so if Arlington can find production on the ground against the Warriors, they may be successful. Easier said than done, as Martin has a stellar defense led by 5-star cornerback Javian Toviano. After a Week 4 loss to Allen, the Warriors have manhandled the rest of their opponents and can win the district title with a victory over Arlington. Michael Barrow has been something special for Martin, whether it be running, catching, or on special teams. Last week, Mesquite Horn put up quite the defensive performance to upset Rockwall Heath and earn our defensive title belt. Let's find out how they did it and who might be in line to win one this week in The Buzz. Horn was down 14-6 going into the 4th when the Jags let their defense do their thing. They caused 3 key turnovers, including a game-sealing 45-yard pick 6 by Armstrong Nodum to earn Horn a 25-14 win and a defensive title belt. This week, it might be the Frisco Heritage defense that could pull off a title belt for their school. They take on Reedy, and if they can plug up the Lions' running holes, Heritage could get a much-needed victory to help them earn a playoff spot. That's going to do it for today's show. For even more high school football content, be sure to follow us on our social media accounts, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm Ted Madden, and I hope we got you warmed up for all the action.